You mentioned our constitution, and uh, the way we do business here in the Philippines is based on the our own current constitution and the corporate uh, rules here in the Philippines. Ngayon, I earlier I mentioned the 1935 Constitution. I didn't mention it dahil lang yun yung nasa top of my mind. The reason I mention it is because that constitution, I'm not saying this is a factual, okay, but when I read this constitution, our old 1935 constitution, nakabase siya sa the way how the US runs their country. They have 4 year term for two term, 4 year for two term. Even the presidency, even sa Senate, sa Congress, and how we really do things here in the country. That that changes when President Marcos changes our constitution to parliamentary. When he becomes the president, now meron prime minister, Pilipinas. I don't know if people know that na meron tayong naging prime minister nung in the early 70s or early 70s and to the early 80s. With that, there's a floating around here in the Philippines na constitutional change or cha-cha for that matter. For me, I know a lot of people are divided in this issue kasi uh I don't know why we're so struggling or really gripping on the 1986 constitution or dahil lang sa nakaupo ngayon. I don't want to mention that, but nung panahon pa ni Duterte, one of the reason I voted for Duterte is because he said that he will push for federalism. And for those who don't know what federalism is where you're basically putting all the region into accountability. So for example, let's say there are three states here in the Philippines: Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. For an example, Luzon controls its own sovereignty, their own economic provision. Visayas is the same, and Mindanao. Now, that didn't happen, and one of the main reason kung bakit gusto ko ng federalism and basically constitutional change is because, again, the business practice that we have. Here in the Philippines, foreigners can't really invest the whole businesses here in the country because of the 60-40 rule. For those people who don't know, um, Filipino must own 60% of the stock of the company and foreigners must only have 40%. Basically to empower Filipinos who are doing business in the country. What happens is nagiging, how do you say this without even, having controversial say, but nagiging monopoly siya in a way na because of that rule, big businesses like, for example, IKEA, they have to partner with SM, one of the biggest conglomerate here in the country. They have to do that instead of having their own entity. With that, again, I'm speaking on the business aspect. For you, when the constitutional change started to happen, and lalo na may mga pirma na nangyayari sa bawat region dito sa Pilipinas, what do you think of it? Are you opposed to it, or are you eager to say, okay, let's see where it goes from here?
Uh, that's a good question. I've been accept uh I've been accepting of the idea that there should at least be a certain degree of change in our system in the Philippines. For example, I am a person who is open to the idea that we should have federalism. I'm from Zamboanga. We know for a fact that it's been for so long. Mindanao has been left behind as to the country's developments, and that's why there are people who are, especially those in Mindanao, who strongly supports Duterte and again his campaign as to that. But again, what the problem is as to the safeguards, because while we may allow this to happen, uh, the what we call statements against this is what boils down to the fact that are we empowering the local are we empowering the same local governments who are generally the same trapos, pals who most of the time inherited their right to these positions by virtue of because they have the same family name. So that's a problem. While I am open to the fact that uh, the concept of federalism will allow uh, our different the different parts of the country to have a stronger say, not only stronger say, but rather in the exercise of their local governments. The problem with that is what happens when it's the same people but greater power. The same people who is, for example, causing the problems in these parts of Mindanao. I will not say which surnames, but yes, the difference is the difference between our current state of local autonomy, which is granted by the local government code and the constitution, versus if in the case of a federal system, is that in the federal system, we might be just empowering the same people that is causing these problems, right? Again, uh, I'm not sure if uh, these are really people of the best minds in the country to rule our local governments. We're basically making them emperors of their own empires once we allow this to happen, right? Remember, there are certain surnames that uh, dominate local politics. They may not dominate national politics, but they might as well would seem as their own emperors in their own little empire. So what happens when we empower these little emperors to empower them? So I think I'm I don't know, no, I will not mention any surnames, but again, what happens if these are would deemed as thugs or what we call lords of their own places, di ba? Meron silang private armies, etc., etc. So the difference basically is just we granted them more power. So again, it all boils down to how do we respond to this? It's just that they're the same ruling people. Well, yes, federalism might be good, especially as to allow governments to local governments to rule themselves. But we first also need to look at again what happens next. What happens when there's an election and then the entirety of your government is composed of the same surname or two surnames, di ba? Uh, for now, so what I can say is that we must first look at the future of the Bangsamoro. They are, by our 1987 Constitution, granted the autonomy, just like, well, the Cordillera, but the Cordilleras have not uh, what we call approved of their own exercise of autonomy, but of the same level as Bangsamoro. So, but in the case of Bangsamoro, yes. So we have the Bangsamoro Organic Law, which was again is a law that empowers through as what the Constitution grants, it empowers the Muslim Mindanao to have a greater say or a greater exercise in their local government. They until now they still have uh, they're members of their government, so members of the Bangsamoro Parliament are composed of people appointed by the president to different nominations, which may have been nominated through the MILF, etc. But they did not have any elections that is into the level of the members of parliament. So, di ba? Meron silang elections nung before sa mga local pero yung members of parliament wala. So siguro what we can say now is before we can move forward to that, maybe we can look at how they will work by the next time that they will have their elections. When they have their elections, then ayun. Siguro I guess we can for now we can wait and look at to the Bangsamoro question more.
Wow, I never really thought of that way. I mean, you brought new perspective sa akin kasi I mean you're right, like if we let people have more power in their local communities, ang mangyayari doon, it's gonna be their little empire. Like I know, even though even though we have basically voting rights here in the country, but the how we vote kasi is much more different on how other peoples in other countries voted. I don't know why, but if pangalan, like for example, let's say malakas yung apelyido mong Dagandan, for sure mananalo ka sa Mindanao. That sort of thing. Again, for example, hindi ko sinasabing malakas ang Dagandan, but that's just an example. But yeah, what a great point kasi here's the thing, before all of that, I really I really think na one of the reason kung bakit maganda ang federalism lalo na sa Mindanao is because Mindanao is so rich in in resources and talented people. Now, once you give them a little freedom of power, a little power to to act autonomously, Mindanao will be much more greater than Manila. To be honest with you, ganun ako kalakas yung faith sa Mindanao because if you know sa Cagayan de Oro sa may bandang Bukidnon, the places were so beautiful once na ma-develop yon, lalo na nagiging agricultural space siya sa Mindanao, the more supply in food ang magiging Mindanao, hindi magiging scarce ang food sa Mindanao. And mas maganda pa once na for example na magkaroon ng federalism, there's gonna be an importation law. Now, kapag i-export nila yung product nila sa let's say sa Visayas and Mindanao, they're gonna have much more capital or much more money coming in Mindanao because of that bunch of products na i-export nila. I mean, that's a great point. Yeah, I don't know what to say next kasi o nga no, like if we give people the more power, mas magiging control nila yung communities nila. Wow, just wow.
That is a certain, ano talaga, fact of life talaga no, na even though we want to support the system of giving, yun na nga, more autonomy, but the problem is if these are the same people who's ruling our local governments, the difference again is just that they are empowered. More powers are granted to them, then maybe it's not really the best course. But again, we must look into the next 10 years after the election, siguro 5 to 10 years after the election sa parliament ng BARM kasi sila naman ang may yun na nga, granted nga by the Bangsamoro Organic Law and by the Constitution nga. In the first place, the autonomy in a way is acting like parang an not in a way, but rather is acting as an autonomous region. Like, likely parang an experiment for us to look when eventually we can adopt the federalism in the country. But for now, the local government code and even the recent Mandanas, it seemed recent, but maybe it's from 3 years ago, 2 years ago, the Mandanas ruling. Basically, the point is that local governments will now have a greater share in our taxation, in the taxes that is collected by the Philippine government. So when we look into that, kasi I know that there was an EO issued by Duterte, which, for example, certain what we call functions or operations by the national government will now be given to the local governments because now they now have, because of the Mandanas ruling, or the ruling which gave local governments more share in the overall national taxation. With that, we can look for one example be, for example, a hospital operated under the control of the DOH will now be given to the local government, for example, to operate. And we leave the operation to you because now you have the money to operate it. Diba? Parang in a way that is what we call in a way that is still what we call an exercise seeing local governments exercise more power, and the best way to exercise power is when you have the money, and in this case because they now have a greater revenue share, then ayun, you did that. So for now, yun yung magandang ruling. I think ginusto naman talaga ito ah, ng mga nasa local government. Pero so for now, yun na lang muna, and then we again look at the the Bangsamoro will succeed, or what's the outcome of the future of the incoming Bangsamoro elections. And after that, we look at, okay, ito ang nangyari sa Bangsamoro, possibly this might happen for the rest of the country. So, should we have a federalism? Then yun ang base natin.
That
Yeah.
is true. And also, if there are listeners right now na nagtataka, how about the economy of the Philippines? First of all, our our economy is one of the stable in the Southeast Asia. So, I mean, sabihin nyo man na, paano naging stable, hindi namin random. Like, statistically speaking, Philippines has one of the most stable economies in the Philippines. That's why it's attracting World Bank. That's why it's attracting foreign investors. The problem is, again nga, the 60-40 rule dito sa Pilipinas. You can catch the entire episode exclusively on YouTube. It's youtube.com at The Nick Berliano Show. It's youtube.com at The Nick Berliano Show.